them to see me in action. You think the come up comes overnight? You ain't behind the scenes. Trust me, these things don't just happen. No shade at Gerald.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Voice from the Corner. Today, we're going to talk about the show Saturday night, and we're going to talk about the corruption in professional boxing. I'd like to say firstly, before we start, the views have been phenomenal. The subscribers have been great. Obviously, I'd like to say thanks to every single subscriber out there and every viewer out there. And this wouldn't be possible without all you people out there subscribing and viewing. And it's going from strength to strength. It's a hard channel because it's a real channel. And it's saying things as it is. So please keep subscribing and tell your friends. Here I am, Peter Mcdonagh.
And here I am, the Vanilla Gorilla Dan. So yeah, just to reiterate Pete's point, thanks for all the subscriptions, comments, likes, dislikes. As he says, keep watching, spread the news, and we'll keep addressing the issues that people want to be addressed. Now, Saturday, Pete, a lot of people were looking forward to that. First night of boxing at all for a long time. Some names on the bill. You weren't overly excited about the bill, let's be honest. I think you're more excited about this week's coming, but we'll talk about last week's because I think it kicked up a lot of issues that maybe were maybe unforeseen. So we'll talk about Barrett Martinez first. Good fight?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, great to see boxing back on telly on Sky Sports. Well done to Eddie Hearn. You know, it was a funny night of boxing. I got the popcorn out, started chewing on the popcorn. The Barrett Martinez fight. I nearly choked on the popcorn. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe, like, my eyes. I mean, Dan, I ain't going to carry on ranting like I did on Saturday night, yeah?
If you've seen Pete's post-fight rants, you know what he's talking about. If you haven't, go back and watch them. They're brilliant. And they, as he does, he says it how it is. But go on, Pete.
But, I mean, for me, we're in the house of boxing now. And what I believe is, this is the political side of it now, of me talking in a clever way about it. Wow. And Saturday night, I turned around and said Eddie Hearn's a fraud. I didn't mean that by what I said, Eddie Hearn's a fraud. But what I will say is this. After the fight had finished and he'd done the post-fight interview, he turned around and said, right, he thought Barrett won it by 2 rounds, yeah? But he said the judging, the scoring, was 8 rounds or whatever they had it. 2 judges had it 8 rounds each. Something like that, wasn't it?
118, 111.
Yeah, whatever it was, 7 rounds or whatever it was, 12, yeah. Right? And he goes, I don't think it's fair that the judging was like that. Listen, let me tell you something. I was a professional boxer. If you lose by 1 round or lose by 10 rounds, it don't make no difference because you've still lost the fight. So, for me, this is why I called Eddie Hearn a fraud. For me, to turn around and say your man won it by 2 rounds and then all of a sudden say, we're going to give Martinez an automatic rematch. This is what it tells me. You are going to get public peer pressure, Eddie, yeah, that this fight should be made again. 100% of social media, 90% of it said that Martinez won this fight. It was not Zelfa Barrett's fault. Listen, well done to Zelfa Barrett. He hung in there. I mean, in the 8th round, I think it was the 8th round, if you're watching this, Zelfa, in the 8th round, I could see you touching your eye in that, and I think you was wondering, shall I stay here or shall I get out? You know, but you gritted your teeth, mate, and you come back in them last few rounds. You won the last round was sort of iffy, but you won the last 3 rounds before that, and you gritted your teeth, yeah,
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and you moved your, you
stood in place,
yeah,
dug down,
yeah, dug down. For me, the tactics were wrong. I'm not sure Pat would have had the same idea as you had in the ring, in the corner. I think he would have said sit on your punches a little bit more earlier on. Maybe the first 3 rounds you could have a move around, let him use his power. But another thing I'm going to pick up on about the commentary. I mean, the commentary were turning around saying he's going to lose his power after 3 rounds. The commentary were turning around and saying he's an old man. He's 34 years old. He ain't as old as Captain Tom, is he? God rest Captain Tom's soul. But he ain't as old as Captain Tom. He's 34 years old. Do you know what I mean? He's been in and mixed it with the best.
Level boxer, yeah, throughout his career.
He lost against the best. He was an IBF champion. Well, let's not take anything away from Zelfa Barrett here. For me, he was put in too high. He was put in too deep.
Do you think Martinez was underestimated?
No, I don't, because I don't think Pat Barrett would have underestimated him because where he's been and what he's done. Remember, these are all saying that he was a finished fighter. 4 fights ago, he was European champion. And then he lost to what's his name? Gary Russell Jr. Do you know what I mean? It ain't a bad loss, a WBC title.
No, he's had some losses on his record, but they're all against good fighters.
Yeah.
Rendell Munro, I think was on there. Frampton.
For me, if I was in his corner, I would have said to him, after 2 rounds, you got to start setting your feet a little bit now and start planting your feet, letting your shots go, and then moving again. What he was doing, he was moving too much, and he was throwing the jab, but he wasn't even throwing the jab to hit, so he wasn't even timing it. But I do believe...
But you think Martinez was applying pressure where Barrett maybe didn't have the experience or the know-how to deal with it? You're talking about, again, an experienced fighter who's been in with some of the best, and he applied, as you tell me, he applied constant but directed pressure, not stupid, just go in there, get hit, keep moving forward. It was pressure that was intelligent pressure.
Yeah, but if you ask me that, what has he really took from the Ronnie Clark fight? Because that's what Ronnie Clark done. Do you know what I mean? So I wonder whether he's took a lot from that Ronnie Clark fight. I mean, afterwards in the press conference, in the post-fight, he turned around and said, I've learned a lot from that fight, which I think he has learned a lot from that fight. And I do believe if there's a rematch, that I do believe Zelfa Barrett beats him. And I do. I'll be honest with you. But are we going to get a rematch where Kiko Martinez is going to get 3 weeks' notice? Because that is the problem with boxing. That is the problem with boxing. And before we even go... No, let's finish... the night's worth of boxing on first, but we'll leave that there. And like I say, well done to Zelfa Barrett for hanging in there. He's not a judge, neither is Pat Barrett. Yeah, he's down to the judges. We'll speak about that afterwards. So well done, boys, and don't be too hard on the criticism on social media. You're still a young kid, so you know you'll come again. And I believe in a rematch you can beat Kiko Martinez, and I think you'll either learn loads from that, or if you don't learn from that, you're not going to go no further in your career. But for me, I think he beats Kiko Martinez in a return. Now we're going to go on to Josh Warrington v... Let's talk a little bit about Lee Wood and
let's talk about
Reece Mould first.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a good result for Wood.
Yeah,
in the end.
Yeah,
relatively good finish.
Yeah.
Did he have much against him really on the night? Was it quite an easy, I won't say easy fight, but control the fight from most of it?
It wasn't an easy fight. I think he got caught early on. He got caught in about the 2nd or 3rd round. Got wobbled bad. And obviously the corner were very vocal with Ben Davison.
Yeah, very vocal.
Yeah, very vocal. I mean, I don't know whether that's experience or what. I don't know.
How do you mean?
I don't know if it's experience or it's panicking. Do you know what I mean? Because...
What?
For
Davidson
me,
being so vocal.
Yeah, for me, I would have turned around and said, hold him. I don't know why he didn't hold him when he was caught. Do you know what I mean? But again, everyone's got their own ways. Every trainer's got their own ways. You know, I ain't going to sit here and criticise Ben Davison. Ben Davison's trained the best fighter in the world in Tyson Fury. He must have learnt a lot of Tyson Fury. He's got one of the best fighters in Josh Taylor. Do you know what I mean? He's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world as we speak.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So... Ben Davison is obviously doing something right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, full credit to them. But what I do believe is, you know, at the end of the day, Reece Mould was not at the level of Lee Wood, and that showed as the fight went on. And I think he took a little bit of a shellacking towards the end, and I think the fight could have been stopped a little bit earlier than what it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And even if the towel come in, because he was left to be knocked spark out and put on oxygen. So, well done again to Lee Wood, and commiserations to Mould. But you'll come again, mate, and you might learn a lot from that fight. Do you know what I mean? Let's hope it's not taking too much out of you. So, again, we'll get on to the main event.
Lee Wood go again? Higher?
Yeah, I think Lee Wood is above British level. He is above British level, do you know what I mean? I'd like to see him in the European title fight next. Do you know what I mean? You know, not these moody intercontinental titles and then fight for a world title and get battered. I'd rather see him go the traditional way and fight for a European title. That's what I think people need to do. Obviously now we move on to Josh Warrington, top of the bill, against... what's the man's name?
Mauricio
Lara. For me, he was 1-33 on. I mean, it weren't even a fight in people's eyes. And let's be honest here, that's his first outing under Matchroom. I
think it was a year to the day that he signed.
It was a year and a half out though, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah,
year and a half out.
Inactive more or less. Yeah. It was a year to the day that he signed. But I'll tell you what, we spoke about it on the Thursday, and you said to me, you said to me, he don't look right.
No.
And I said I think he looks well. He looked ripped, he looked strong. And you said something about him, he does not look right. And I asked you, didn't I? I said, what do you think? What do you think it is? Is he drained at the weight? Has he? Is it the fact that his style over the years has been so relentless and so fitness reliant that he's just? I know he's not old, but with old age, it's harder and harder to maintain those levels of fitness and CV in the ring. And we couldn't put our finger on it. I thought he looked good, I'll be honest with you. And I couldn't see any other result. Obviously, I didn't know much about Lara. But you called it and you did say, I've got a funny feeling about this. We didn't think it was going to be that funny. As it happened to be. But I mean, from the get-go, you said as he walked in or as he got into the ring, you had your doubts.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because it was really weird. I watched him and I watched the glow on his face at the weigh-in. Not the weigh-in, it was at a press conference the day before. And I looked and I thought, even in here, his jaw looked right drawn in. And I thought, and do you know what? I went home and looked at the odds and I thought, this geezer must be a knockover job if he won at 33, But when he got in the ring on the night, I mean, I'm telling people this now, and listen, I ain't going to start swearing on people's lives, but I'm telling you now, this is the truth. Exactly what I said to Danny and I said to my other friend, Paul. At the end of the day, once he got into that ring, right, as soon as that bell went in that first round, 30 seconds into that first round, I picked up it weren't right, His feet weren't moving with his hands. Do you understand what I'm saying? There was no rhythm there. There was no rhythm there. It took the commentary a lot longer to pick it up than what I did. All they was picking up on was he's on his back foot, right? Maybe he might have changed his style, but that weren't a style change to me. Something was seriously up in that fight. And I made a massive reaction after that fight, right? I said he had his dad in his corner. I said, surely he knows that he weren't right, And that weren't weight drained. Because when you're weight drained, you might get 2 or 3 rounds out of a kid. They'll come out like a lunatic and then they'll slow down. But you won't lose. It's like he lost everything overnight. So for me, I said, I pray that there's nothing wrong. But I'll tell you what I would do, Josh Warrington, if you are listening or if anyone around him is listening, I would go and see and go and have a scan and just make sure everything's all right. Because to me, everything weren't all right. No. Apparently, someone see him today in the gym. He was going to meet someone today in the gym. And he was talking as though he just had a bad night. That weren't a bad night, mate. For me, that weren't a bad night. It couldn't have been that bad a night. I had some terrible nights, but you still got something about you. He never had nothing about him. Right? We're looking at a man here who there's so-called puncher, Mexican. Listen, most Mexicans can fight. Puncher, he caught him early, he done this, he done that. Hold up a minute, let's stop here. Do you remember when Perez fought Kevin Mitchell and demolished Kevin Mitchell, right? And then he come back over to fight Corolla and Corolla demolished him in about 5 rounds. It weren't how good that Perez was. It was more how bad Kevin Mitchell was, right? So I believe if Kid Galahad fought that kid, I think he'd take him apart in 4 rounds, at least. No longer than 4 rounds. He'd dissect that kid in 4 rounds and knock him out.
The Josh Warrington that we know or we've seen previously would have
demolished him because he wanted to let him, give him a chance to start working.
No. So, you know what I mean? So yeah, listen, it would appear that not everything was as it should be.
For me, when he was going back to the corner, it's like his head was there. He was smiling. He was like reacting to what was said to him. But he was going out and doing totally different. So I couldn't understand why the corner, weren't thinking, hold up a minute, this ain't right, nothing's... And when he went down heavy in that 4th round, right, the referee near enough picked him up off the floor, Howard Foster, And as he was walking back to the corner, he looked like he'd had 30 pints of Guinness. So
they weren't good.
Why did they not pull him out at that point? It was only a matter of time before he got knocked out. So do we do this with fighters? Let me say another thing before I finish here. We've got the best medical team in the world with the British Boxing Board of Control. Why was that kid allowed to walk from the ring to the changing room? He was still wobbling as he was walking through the crowd. But what the crowd, but the...
Well, that bit of footage of him coming through the door. He pushes the wall out of the way like it's someone in his way.
But all the commentary team and all that. Pushing it. But listen, his feet are still all wonky. That kid should have been on a stretcher with oxygen, right? I'm not a doctor, but I'm telling you what should have happened. His head should have been put in a brace just in case he had any head damage, yeah? Take it from a man firsthand who's had a brain tumour, yeah? Take it from a man who knows what bleed on the brains are all about, yeah? This is the problem we got in boxing, right? Is we ain't got people ringside that are even, I don't believe they're the right people to be ringside. Do you know what I mean? You know, so for me, if there is a doctor there, the doctor surely should say, get the paramedics and put that kid on the stretcher. Listen, in football, you get kicked and put on the floor, yeah, right? They come on with about 84 stretchers. And that's the truth.
No,
But they do it for that kid's welfare, yeah? You know, and bring them straight out. They get checked over straight away. Where did Josh Warrington go that night? Did he go to hospital or did he go home? I don't even know.
Hospital, apparently.
He went to hospital, did he?
Apparently so,
yeah. But hopefully he had all the right checks on him. If you ain't had an MRI scan yet, Josh Warrington, go and have an MRI scan, because I love you as a fighter and I respect you as a fighter and you was a top world champion. But that was like a kid that never had an amateur fight in there. And that's the truth of it. And made the other kid look like Sugar Ray Clay. And that's the truth. Do you know what I mean? You look like Tom Jones and he looked like Roy Jones. And that's the truth. But we don't know what's going on.
Why wasn't the fight stopped in the 4th round? Had it been the other way round, what would have happened?
Do you know what's very funny about that? Keep watching, people, because the next video is going to come out. It's going to be on the corruption of judges, referees, yeah, and the whole situation around boxing. So we're going to finish this here in a minute. I'm going to finish with what Danny just said to me. Why wasn't the fight stopped in the 4th round? In the 6th round or the 7th round, when Lara got the mark on his eye, he couldn't wait. He looked like he was going to stop him. And I even got told, I don't know if it's a rumour, like something we've heard just earlier. I don't know if it's a rumour. I got told they had Warrington 5 rounds up. The judges had Warrington 5 rounds up.
Well, they
reckon they got the cards. So someone reckons he was 5 rounds up. I had him 12 rounds up going into the 8th. Do you know what I mean? I had, listen, I'm not a gambler, but I had a little bet on Kiko Martinez against Zelfa Barrett, yeah? 11-2, I thought it's a gimme, right? If he was finished and old, yeah, Zelfa Barrett knocks him out. But we all found he had something left. I had it, the 11th round, they offered me a cash out, a tenner under the money I would have got, yeah? In the 11th round, right? I thought, no chance I'm taking that. He's won this season. Won this season, just got to stay on his feet. And he never looked like he was in trouble. They give the fight the other way.
Is there any way that it could have been argued that Barrett won that fight?
No, you know.
Well, on Sky Sports, they argued that he won the fight.
Yeah, but are they looking through Sky Sports glasses? Hold on a minute.
Because you know, and I said to you when the fight was on.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Macklin, he suddenly went from Martinez dominating the fight to it potentially being a draw.
Draw, yeah.
Adam Clark,
yeah.
Draw.
Yeah.
Booth, we had 1 up.
Yeah.
Nelson, yeah, by 1.
Yeah.
That's when you know that they know the fight went the other way. They don't start talking about draws unless they know that.
Look, the way I look at it is like this, right? Why can't we put an independent person? My name can go up for it if you want me to go up for it. An independent person, just say what he thinks, right? I'm not affiliated to no one. Sky, MTK,
Matchroom,
Frank Warren.
Well, yeah.
Let me go to all these shows and let me score these fights, yeah? Let me put out on social media how I scored the fight. Let people see how I scored the fight. Just have me as like...
Why don't they just publish the scores as the rounds go on?
WBC do it, don't they, after every 4 rounds or something, apparently.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they should do it like the amateurs, like where they got it up on the screen.
Listen, the fighters don't even have to see it.
Yeah.
It could be for the...
Well, who cares if the fighters do see it?
No, I don't know, but I'm
makes
just
the
saying,
fight more exciting. Makes the fight more exciting.
Well, if someone be like, nah, bollocks to this, I'm getting marked down. I'll
but you say that, Eddie Hearn said, why didn't Martinez just go on his back foot and box? So what was that the plan then? Was that the plan? Is that what they wanted him to do? Do they think he was just going to come and pick up his money? Listen, we're going to leave this here. Please subscribe, like, and get on the next video. It's going to be coming out on... When's the next video we're going to put the next video out? Do you know what? We're going to put it out in a couple of days' time. But get on the next video, right? Because we're going to talk about the corruption of referees and judges in boxing. Because it's got to be said. And I think it's only fair that the British public are not conned anymore. And people have got to start listening, yeah? We want this to become a mainstream sport again. They say, Donald Trump says, I want to make America great again. I want to make boxing great again. So, if you like it, subscribe and like. Nice one.
If you like that, give us a like, comment and a subscribe. You big dosser.